What's going on YouTube? I'm back again for attempt number 3 at trying to get my final drive ratio into the 10s. So after doing a fair bit of research, I figured out that my wheels are spinning too fast for the slick concrete that I'm driving on. So if I change the ratio from sort of mid-8s to around sort of a 10 point something or other, anything around 10 to 13 to 1, it's going to help me a lot. So I've been trying to change the spur drive and the pinion over here, but the problem I've been facing is that the drive belt at the back there has been fouling with the motor when I've tried to fit anything smaller. So what I'm running here is an 88 tooth 48 pitch spur gear with a I believe it is a 23 tooth pinion. So to get into the 10s with everything else calculated, I'll put a little picture of the app that I've been using to do that. You need a little bit more information, stuff to do with your other drivetrain. I've figured out, and maybe hopefully I'm right, that I can use a 85 tooth spur gear and a 18 tooth pinion gear, and I should be able to get into the 10s. Well, it'll be 10.06 final drive ratio. But the problem was, because they're both smaller, it's causing the motor to touch the belt. So after a bit of research and people helping me on the internet, turns out if I fit a high mount motor mount, then I'll be able to solve that problem, because the motor will be up here away from the belt, and it'll be able to move up and down with enough play that it's far away from the belt and it won't ever collide. Now, because I've got a Sprint 2, parts are getting harder to find them. It's old, really. You know, you speak to most people, and the minute that you tell them that you've got a Sprint 2, even a converted one as hopped up as mine, they're still like, you should be getting something else. You know, get a Yokomo YD2. You know, get a Sakura D5. But this is what I've got. This is what I've got started with. And although I couldn't find the high mount in stock anywhere, I managed to find someone who is using a Yokomo YD2S Racing high motor mount, and apparently this is a direct fit. That's the way it goes up, and you've got like a certain amount of adjustment to whether you want to rock the motor further upwards or like further back and downwards a bit. So we'll see what kind of movement we've got once we've got it in there. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to fit it just behind the spur gear mount, or whether I'm going to have to take off all of the stuff that drives the belt here and put it behind that. It doesn't come with any mounting hardware, so I've got a box of hardware and stuff, and I've managed to find some 2mm Allen button heads. I think they're about 10 or 12mm long, something like that, and some Nylock I think they're 5.5 nuts, Nylock as well, so you have to wear them vibrating off. So yeah, that's it basically. I'm just going to tear into it and see what happens. And there we go, that's the motor out. So I've been running this quite a while. There's still like not any play, not any lateral play. You can see there's a tiny little grub screw there, so you just pull that off, and then that's the pinion drive removed, and then all you've got to do is make sure that it's in line with the cog when you put it back on. My nice spur gear cover, it's come on off a few times now, but it's pretty simple. And like I say, because it's a rotating part of the assembly, you just want to make sure that those screws are Loctited, so they don't come loose on you and cause some kind of catastrophic failure. No one's going to want that. So we're just going to pull these out. So let's break out the old X-Acto knife, craft knife, whatever you want to call it. Get this lovely piece out. I mean, I love racing stuff. It's always so nicely made. Right, so yeah, it's not going to fit over there. This tiny little thing. Do not lose that, because you're in for a bad time. Without that, your spur gear won't actually rotate, which all this will be moving, but well, it won't. It'll just spin the spur gear and the drive belt won't actually move. On the back there, if you can see, that is the little notch, and depending on which point you put it on depends on whether the belt is tightened or loosened. So there's a couple of mounting holes already here. So the idea is this thing mounts like so, and it should just line up.
How about new?
Well, it's taken me a little while to figure this out, but I've drilled out that centre hole to 17mm to allow it to sit offset. I'm using the original holes there for the motor mount brace. Just changed it to a button head M3 bolt in there, and then I've used a nut and bolt through the middle there, still on the original hole that was there. So that still allows me to swivel the motor backwards and forwards if I want to, and there is plenty of room for the motor to sit down here, and there's also plenty of room here for the spur gear holder to go on and rotate without it touching anywhere else. So if you're looking for a solution to do a high mount on your Sprint 2, then this YD2 lightweight engine mount, like high engine mount, is a good choice, as long as you've got the ability to drill that hole out to 17mm. It's the only way I could get it to fit with all the stock parts. Maybe there's other ways to do it. One guy I spoke to, he actually had this mounted on the inside instead, but then to do that you've got to either modify or lose that. So this way here I've managed to bolt it onto the outside, and everything still lines up nice. And yeah, let's get this all built up and then we'll take it from there.